I'm Tyler Austin from Gungnir Strategic. Thank you so much for watching. This is going to be another installment of my Kombative Kalashnikov series, and this has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is talking about irregular AKs, in particular 9mm AKs such as this KP9 from Kalashnikov USA, which is more or less a one-to-one copy of the actual Russian Vityaz, the 9mm AK from Russia. Now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about here is also going to apply to other irregular type AKs, such as AKs that utilize M4 magazines rather than AK magazines. But with that being said, I'm primarily going to focus on 9mm AKs, such as this KP9. Now, like I already said, this KP9 is more or less a one-to-one copy of the actual Russian Vityaz. They did make some minor changes to make it more appealing and more usable to the American market, such as using a standard 9mm thread pitch, so that way there's more muzzle devices and suppressors available for you. Obviously, I have alpha'd this, if you will, modernized it, as the kids would say. I added a Midwest Industries rail to this. This is an M-LOK rail. I have a Pursed 4 and a Surefire light on this. This knob, this charging handle knob, is also, I put that on there. That doesn't come with the rifle. I changed the safety, made a more enhanced safety on it. And this is a Sure Shot USA skeletonized M4 stock / brace adapter. So got all that out of the way because I know people will ask. Oh, and this is a Silencer Co. Omega 36M. So with that being said, what are some of the differences from the KP9 that you'll see that is different from that of like a standard AKM? Well, number one, obviously it's going to be pretty short. This has a 9mm, or 9mm, obviously has a 9mm barrel on it, but it has a 9.25 inch barrel, I believe it is. It's 9 something. So it's going to be significantly shorter than your standard AK, obviously. But on top of that, it's going to be quite a bit shorter because the receiver itself is actually quite a bit shorter than your standard AK receiver. This is for two reasons. Number one, it's 9mm, so it's utilizing a much shorter casing than that of 7.62 or 5.45 or 5.56. But also, the KP9 is a direct blowback 9mm AK. It uses a direct blowback system. My apologies for the wind. It uses a direct blowback system rather than a long stroke gas system. So the bolt and the bolt carrier does not have to travel as far forward because there's no bolt that has to rotate and lock into the chamber. Now, obviously, the biggest change, which is the primary focus of this video, is going to be the magazines. It uses 9mm magazines, of course, but it uses a straight insert type system rather than a rock and lock. So these magazines just straight insert to lock into the receiver rather than your standard rock and lock type mechanism that an AK uses. I'm going to go back to that here in a second. Other than that, your standard AK stuff will work with the KP9 / Vityaz. Safeties are the same. Fire control group and trigger is the same. All that stuff, the grips are the same. There's a lot of interchangeability in terms of parts from your standard AK to the KP9 / Vityaz. A lot of standard AK parts will work in this, such as fire control groups, safeties, and so on. Now let's get back to the magazines. So in terms of the manual of arms, the manual of arms for a KP9 and Vityaz is going to, for the most part, remain the same as your standard AK, right? Safety is the same. Trigger, of course, is the same, right? Charging the gun is the same. All of that. However, the biggest difference and the manual of arms difference is going to be magazines, because again, it does not use a rock and lock type system. It uses straight insert. Because it uses a straight insert, you need to ensure that the magazine is all the way seated, which means you're going to do a insurance pull, meaning the moment you insert that magazine into the receiver, you're going to give that magazine a little bit of a pull to make sure that the magazine is fully seated. This is especially true with full magazines, because with every gun that uses a straight insert magazine, there's always going to be a chance that you failed to seat the magazine fully, especially with guns like the AR-15. This is especially common, but it is a common problem with all firearms that use a straight insert magazine system. So ensuring that that magazine is fully seated into the rifle is life insurance, which means you're going to do a pull. Now, this isn't a problem with standard AKs, because the standard AK uses that rock and lock, and although people tend to find it more finicky, I personally don't subscribe to that. I actually really like rock and lock type magazines, but people find them more finicky. But once they're seated, they're seated, and there's basically no chance that you fail to seat the magazine fully. It is very audible and tactilely positive that the magazine is seated fully. It's not the case with straight inserts. So with that being said, to reload these KP9/Vityaz /9mm AKs/AKs that also use M4 type magazines, right? You're going to insert that magazine, give it a quick pull to make sure it's fully seated, and then charge the rifle. Doing that pull is life insurance, is absolutely necessary, because the last thing you want to do is fail to seat that magazine all the way and fail to load the rifle, or have it fall out of the rifle after shooting your first round, if you got seated far enough forward will actually even chamber a round. So that pull is life insurance, and you need to do it. People are going to say, oh, but that slows down your reload. Your reload speed is, in a combative context, is largely irrelevant, within reason, of course. If it takes you 10 seconds to reload a rifle, obviously that's a problem. But beyond that, the difference between a 2-second reload and a 3-second reload is irrelevant in a combative context. It just is, okay? So it is far more important to make sure that magazine is seated all the way than to shave, let's call it, a half-second off your reload. This is far more important than that. Anyway, so that's my brief rundown on the KP9/other irregular AK types. I have probably 500, maybe 600 rounds through this thing so far. I plan on driving it to 1,000 or a little over 1,000 rounds without cleaning it, and doing a full review on this. So far, I'm absolutely loving the thing. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun to shoot, and it's become one of my favorite guns. This thing is just cool. I really, really like it. Anyways, I hope you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to learn more about fighting with your AK, be sure to check out my ebook, Kombative Kalashnikov, Mastering the AK Rifle. It's 100 and I think 70 or 80 pages, something like that, all on fighting with your AK. So if that's something that you would be interested in, definitely be sure to check that out. Anyways, I'm Tyler Austin from Gun Gear Strategic. Thank you so much for watching.